Good morning, and thank everybody for joining us today. My name is Jason Moss. I'm the marketing coordinator at Allied Communications. And here with me today, I have Sam Thompson, who is the senior sales trainer at RingCentral, and she supports everything Allied Communications. In this presentation, Sam is going to introduce why companies today in 2020 need unified communications and how it should be a key item in your cloud strategy. So at this time, I'm going to turn the discussion over to Sam. Sam, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jason. My name is Sam Thompson, and as mentioned, I am the Senior Channel Sales Trainer for RingCentral. We're going to talk just a little bit about what UCaaS is and how UCaaS can be beneficial to businesses of all sizes. As the market is moving in that direction, we would like for everyone to stay on trend. So let's go ahead and jump right in. A couple of things to know about RingCentral specifically is that we are the largest and fastest growing pure play unified communications provider out there. These are our third quarter numbers, so $900 million in revenue run rate. We have over 2 million business users around the world. We are a global company. We've got 15 years, a little bit more than 15 years of innovation under our belt, so we are not a fly-by-night, nor are we a startup company. And we have over 5,000 employees around the globe. The preponderance, 2/3 of us, are customer facing or customer supporting. So you have a large team of people supporting your customers and supporting your users once you go with RingCentral. To the right-hand side, you'll see some of the large logos that trust RingCentral to provide their communications platform and their collaboration tools. The way that we look at UCaaS at RingCentral is really kind of two-ply. We look on the right-hand side, what you're seeing here is our employee engagement tools, or the things that make the employee experience much better. Our employee engagement tools really come in three parts. So we've got cloud, which is cloud PBX, which is our voice. And then we've got team messaging, which is really amazing. And then we have meetings, both audio and video meetings. The Cloud PBX is the foundational portion of our platform and where we started. The team messaging is really what we consider to be our pure collaboration tool, and it's what brings people together. It eliminates bottlenecks, it eliminates limitations that email can present, but it keeps people on the same page and connected no matter where they may happen to be. And then the video meetings and the audio meetings allow for you to seamlessly go from a messaging interaction to a voice interaction to a video meeting interaction, all in a single platform. On the left-hand side, oops, went the wrong direction. On the left-hand side is what we have, our customer engagement tools. And these are some of the things that improve the customer experience. Again, we have three areas that we look at in our customer engagement tools. On the bottom is contact center, and that's going to be your standard or your traditional inbound voice contact center solution. In the middle is your Engage Digital, which is really an omni-channel type of interaction for those more robust contact center environments. What this is going to do is it allows for those contact centers to utilize social media to see, A, what their customers are saying about them, but B, to monitor those interactions and those comments and to make sure that they're responding to anything that might be a challenge for their customer base in real time. It does employ artificial intelligence. So maybe I said something about a particular business on my Twitter account, then I'm in Facebook and I say something different. This is going to allow for that business to identify me as their customer and then also to tie those different social media personas together. So that's something that's really, really cool. And again, your larger, more established contact centers are using this as a way to protect their brands. At the top is our outbound blended option, and we call that Engage Voice. And Engage Voice is a way for those businesses that have an outbound situation or an outbound environment, telesales, marketing, things of that nature, to utilize tools to make sure that they have the right scripts, to make sure they're auto-dialing, to make sure they're in compliance with any rules or regulations that are out there for outbound calling. All of these together create a simplified and a unified platform. The one thing that I do want to point out also about the customer engagement and employee engagement tools is that they do talk to one another. So it makes it where your back-end employees do have access to those contact center things to create a unified experience for the customer base. The cloud is winning. So as we mentioned earlier, there is a trend happening and there's really a wave of change that's coming upon us. Premise is down about 12% and it's actually dropping in popularity much faster than industry analysts had originally anticipated. You'll notice that cloud or UCaaS is up 21%. But if you look at RingCentral, in comparison to other cloud providers, we're up 37%. So we really and truly are the market leader. But more importantly, I like to say that we're the bar by which others will be measured. So we are the leader and the others are chasing us. So RingCentral is a collaborative communication system, meaning it's all there together, all the tools that you need, but more importantly, it provides a feature transparent experience for your employee base. RingCentral is enabling us to move away from such voice and conferencing apps as ShoreTel, Intertel, Uber Conference, Skype, Citrix, WebEx, Lynx, and others. So really putting all of these in one place instead of having multiple disparate systems simplifies it for your administrators, but also makes it much easier and increases your productivity of your employees because they don't have to guess which tool am I supposed to use. So if we think about this transformation or this change that's coming upon us in regards to, keep getting these pop-ups, in regards to the way that we take our music. So when I was growing up, I had lots of albums and I loved my albums. They were awesome. But over time, then came the Walkman and then there were cassette tapes and all of these other different mediums. So if we think about it, we have evolved the way that we get music. And now, today, we don't have a Walkman, or cassette tapes. We're not even using the DVDs anymore. Today, we're streaming our music, and that music is stored in the cloud. And that allows for us to have instant access to the music and all sorts of music. So we're not even limited by what we go out, what we physically purchase. Everything's available to us at the click of an app. So that's where we're going in relationship to communications. Everything should be available to you at the click of a button. The cloud has changed everything, so the technology is better, which means that feature enhancements and improvements to the way that you communicate will happen faster. It's globalized workforce. No longer does everybody go into an office and sit at a desk and then leave their responsibilities when they go home. And no longer are we all in the same place. Workers are all over. I like to say work isn't something that we do. Work isn't someplace that we go. It's what we do. And RingCentral provides you the tools to be able to do it. It is the new or the next generation. And if you think about the employees that we're starting to hire, they're fresh out of college, they're younger people. They're used to having this advanced technology in their personal and their consumer lives. And they want those same tools and that same ease of communication in their professional and their business lives. By the year 2020, millennials are going to comprise more than 50% of the workforce. And while Generation Z, which is my generation, we're going to make up only about 20%. So just as technology has a wave of change, so is the workforce changing. And those changes are being dictated by younger people and the tools that they feel that they need in order to be better, faster, and more effective in their professional careers. Now, this is a quote that we have from Gartner. By 2021, 90% of IT leaders will not purchase new premise-based UC infrastructure. That's up from about 50% today. And the reason that they are made this statement, or the reason that they feel this way, is because, as I mentioned, cloud can give them more features, functions, portals, analytics, and dashboards in a much faster way than a UC solution can do. The operational expenditure is a much better model, particularly for your startup companies, but really for your enterprise level companies as well, because it's a more predictable model in relationship to their cost to communicate, but also it gives them the flexibility to grow as they need to without an expenditure or a large capital expenditure. If we look at the way people communicate, particularly in the business world today, email is still pretty popular. Phone calls are starting to drop. We don't talk live anymore as much as we used to. Team messaging is growing year over year much faster than really any other mode of communications in a business environment. And I anticipate that probably in the next year or two, team messaging will leapfrog over phone calls. Email will still be pretty up there or pretty prominent in what we do as business communicators, but you'll see things like text and social media. Social media will probably start to move up a little bit more. Audio conference and video conference calls, still kind of new in some environments, but I anticipate as voice calls start to go down, we're going to see audio and video phone calls going up. Email is going to drop just a little bit. Team messaging will take over. So the tools that RingCentral is bringing to the table is really going to help businesses future-proof themselves, providing those tools before the employee base starts asking for the tools, and really put you ahead of your competitors. So we call this app overload. The average number of communication apps in the workplace is 4. 10 times in an hour, workers will toggle between those apps. And then that's going to equal about 32 days wasted in productivity per year per employee. And that's a lot of wasted productivity. So if you think about it, like most businesses have one app or one tool that they're using for their webinars or their meetings. They may use something else for video meetings. They have a PBX platform that's going to be covering their voice, and then they have their email. So if they're jumping between all of those things because they're all separate and disparate, you may have 4 or 5 different administrators having to look over and maintain all of those different systems, and it can get quite complicated and quite convoluted over time. Today's business wants to be sleek and it wants to be streamlined, but more importantly, it wants to be easy to use so that they can maximize the human capital that it has invested in. And that is what a cloud-based solution is going to do. It allows for people to communicate through any mode, anywhere, at any time that they so desire. So I, for one, I'm out of the office about 90% of the time. And I do most of my communication from a smartphone, but I have all the same tools that I would have if I were sitting in the office at my desk. And that's what employees and what businesses are looking for as we move forward. So your end users have tools, and your IT people or your administrators have a different set of tools and requirements that they're looking at. So let's take a peek at each subset. On your end users, let's look at the RingCentral app. And as I mentioned before, my favorite part. I am on the RingCentral app. You might hear it be called Blip sometimes. Some of us internally might refer to it as that. But this combines my voice, my messaging, and my meeting capabilities on a single platform. So I go out and maybe I start chatting with Darren, and Darren and I are kind of, sometimes things get lost when you're typing, or, the communication isn't quite as clean as you would like. So I said, you know what, Darren, let's talk about this. I can literally click on a picture of Darren, click a phone icon, and then it'll connect Darren and I to a live conversation. But maybe there's some documents that need to be shared, so we can escalate the voice or the audio conversation into a video meeting and share documents back and forth with one another to make sure that what we're doing, that we understand one another. But sometimes it just helps to have that little bit of human contact. This platform will do that for you. So It's in an instance, so you have your enterprise level voice, and you'll see that it's showing on the laptop. So if I'm in the office, I can use my laptop and use the audio from the laptop. I can actually connect to a desktop or a desk phone if so desired. But if I'm out of the office or I'm a mobile professional, same tools, same interface, same features are available to me on my smartphone. So the things that we kind of like about having an office phone, the ability to hold, the ability to transfer, the ability to do a conference call, that is not compromised based upon the mode that you happen to be using. Everyone can still do all those things. In regards to team messaging, I'm able to share files. I'm able to chat with my coworkers. But the thing that I like the most is the fact that there's no size limitation. So sometimes when you are trying to send a document, or I'm a trainer, so I send a lot of PowerPoint slides to people, and sometimes my IT team is like, that's just a little bit too big, Sam, you can't send that. But if I come into the RingCentral app, I'm able to send files, I'm able to send decks, I'm able to send anything I want, and size is not a limitation. The other benefit is that it's there forever unless I go in and delete it. So how is that a business tool, Sam? It sounds like it's just a really cool toy for you. No, it's a really great business tool, because if you think about it, let's say you're hiring a new employee. Your HR team can actually have all of their new hire onboarding documents saved in a particular group or team out there called new hire. And then as the new hires come, they're able to find those documents, because it'll be there really until somebody deletes or updates them. Now, the other thing that our messaging tool will also do for them is it allows for you to assign tasks. So let's say I am this new employee. They can tell me which documents or which things I'm supposed to do each day. And then I can check off in this app that I've completed those tasks. My hiring manager or the mentor who's helping me on board will be able to see how much progress am I making toward the goal of getting up and ready to do my job sufficiently on my own. It is a wonderful, wonderful tool. And I'll tell you, at RingCentral, the preponderance of us are in our RingCentral app more than we're in email, more than we're on the phone, more than any other tool that we are provided.
So Sam, a lot of our customers have integrated Microsoft Teams into their communications environment. Does that replace it, or can it be integrated?
It can be integrated, but depending upon the business and what they want to do, they can use the RingCentral app in lieu of. The experience is very much similar to Microsoft Teams. The thing that I think that we have as an advantage, this is my humble opinion, is that ability to maintain those documents over long periods of time and not have those size limitations. The other wonderful thing about the RingCentral app versus Teams is that anybody can use it. So if you've got a smartphone or a laptop, you can download the RingCentral application, and I can share information with people outside of my organization, but it's the same experience for them. There may be a little bit of feature limitation for those who are in an unpaid version of the application, but by and large, anybody anywhere in the world could use this application and allow me to communicate with them seamlessly. Other questions? Awesome.
No, that was great. Thank you. Yeah.
So now we're looking at our video meetings, which is quite awesome as well. The video meetings, as I mentioned, you can escalate to a video meeting or an audio meeting from a messaging interaction, or maybe you were on an audio meeting and you need that human contact or some eye to eye. It's literally one click and it'll bring you into a meeting. Once you're in your video meeting, all of the tools that we're used to having, the ability to record the meeting, the ability to share the documents, annotate things, and all of that, it's going to be there. If you're doing webinars or something of that nature, you also have the ability to do polls, and you have the Q&A session. So it's really a quite robust tool, and I use it quite a bit because I'm on the road. So when I have a one-on-one with my boss, we like to see each other. We use the video capability that is built into the tool seamlessly. So this is giving you an example. So there was a meeting going on, or a messaging interaction going on between two people, and then they want to chat, or they want a video chat with John Smith. Simply click video icon on there, and then you hit join, and then it's going to connect them. And you'll see that you can have a lot of people on there. In fact, each user potentially could have up to 100 folks on a video call. I've never done that many. I don't ever want to do that many, but it's kind of cool to know that I could. Let's take a look now at the IT or the administrator tools. What do they have available to them? So instant anywhere management, because everything is in the cloud and app driven, wherever they may happen to be, they can pull and they're able to see the diagnostics or see a dashboard of the activity of the solution. And you'll see that these little orange dots are kind of showing the different places where we have data centers and where we have physical locations. We are a global company, so we are serving over 140 countries around the world. And we can also provide what we call international virtual numbers. So what that's going to do is that if you're in a different country, we can provide local numbers in that country. But let's say I'm there just for a couple of days, I'm traveling, maybe I support other regions of the world. I can have a local number for the period of time that I'm there. Or if I'm making calls, I can basically use a virtual local number, which allows for the cost of the calls and the way the calls are transported to be a little bit different. What you see in the dark orange are RingCentral Global Office countries, so they have the full global office capabilities. The ones that have the light blue, those are international virtual number countries, and RingCentral data centers are going to be in that brighter tangerine kind of color orange, if you will. We have 24 data centers around the globe. We have direct peering with more than 45 carriers and 200 ISPs around the globe. Any regulatory requirements, we do meet and or exceed those. In a cloud environment, that's another one of the benefits of a cloud environment, is that we are evaluated, we are assessed, we are audited on a much more frequent basis than those in a premise-based solution. So highly secure, very regulated, and you can feel confident knowing that we're meeting all of those requirements. And then emergency services calling. Again, we do meet all of the requirements of the global community in regards to emergency calling, or what we call here in the US and Canada, a 911 call. Another tool for the IT or the administrators is going to be the dashboard. And I really like the dashboard because it monitors the quality of the calls, or will show them the MOS scores. It can also go so deep as to show which ISPs are being utilized more frequently, which features in the tool or in the solution is being utilized more frequently. It can even get so granular as to show which location is using which features more frequently and at what time of the day are they doing it. So pretty much anything you want to know about how the solution is being utilized, there's a report that can be created for you, or a report that you can create independently that's going to show that. And that's the other thing. These reports and the analytics can be done by the customer. You don't have to rely or depend upon a third party to do these reports for you, as some solutions have required you to do that. Also, the reports are pretty much built into the solution. There's no additional cost for the core packaging of the reports that you're going to get. Nobody integrates with more other applications than RingCentral. We have 185 out-of-the-box integrations. We've got 2,500 other custom integrations that we've done. And if there is an integration that a customer or a prospect needs that we have yet to do, and maybe our team doesn't know how to do it, we have access to 23,000 plus developers through our open platform. So we have access to so many developers and so many technical people around the globe that can build and create and integrate different platforms and applications into a solution for a customer. As you'll see on the left-hand side, this is just an example of some of those things that we have customized integrations for, or we've already built customations for. So large number of things. And if you go out to our public website, you can click on integrations, and it'll give you a list of all of those integrations that we have done, what they do, and how to contact us if you should need them. These are some key use cases or some logos that we have worked with. So for embedded solutions, we've got Salesforce, we've got Zendesk, which is another popular one. Zoho is out there, and you'll see Zoho a couple of times on here. For automation integration, SMS fax automation, the Teachers College of Columbia University is another big logo that utilize those. Some additional in-app. So depending upon verticals, they may have some special applications that they use. We can integrate those. For business insights or business intelligence and building custom dashboards, we've got Dropbox, we've got Alameda Bank out there, First Credit Services. So a lot of different ones that are out there that had some customized requirements that they needed, and RingCentral was able to address that. And then on the very far end to the right, team messaging and collaborations, again, really a big focus for a lot of businesses as their workforce tends to change and is starting to evolve. Alert and notification bots, workflow automation, and the ability to embed the collaboration app with anything else that's out there. So there was that question about Microsoft Teams. We can integrate with those as well.
Oh, so Sam, on that previous slide, when we look at the features under embedded communications and business insights, are those exclusive to call center subscribers?
No, so we can do these types of things for the UCaaS providers. So in our standard UCaaS or the PBX, there is what we consider a call center light feature in there. So we can integrate these types of things into there as well.
Oh, great. And then just one more thing. Is there reporting on these?
There is absolutely reporting built in to the solution as a whole. So you can designate an administrator, and your administrators will be able to access the reports. The other really beautiful thing about RingCentral is that each individual user also has what I like to call a mini admin portal, and it allows for them to self-administer themselves. So I'm able to customize the way that I want to use the solution, how I want ringtones to be, what I want to be notified of, but more importantly, I can go in and see what my traffic is. So maybe I'm one of those people that's supposed to do an X amount of outbound calls in the course of a day. I can go and see what my numbers look like for myself, but then my managers and the administrator can also pull that type of data. So yes, it's absolutely, the reports are built in there at every level.
Oh, great.
Okay. So some of our RingCentral customers, I don't want to be braggadocious, but the best and the brightest and the most innovative companies have chosen to trust RingCentral with their communication and collaboration needs. In every different type of vertical, we have a presence. So you'll see John Veritos in the retail and fashion industry. You'll see Hyatt as a hotel, so we can do that as well. Fossil, another one of the retail. Brinker International for restaurants. We got a lot of retail on this particular slide. We also do really well in government. We do well in healthcare. We actually have a verticals team to help make sure that we're meeting the needs of specific verticals. Here we've got Pacific Dental, and for them, their goals were reliability. They wanted to have the ability to make sure they had good quality of service. They needed to be HIPAA compliant as they are a dental service. And then they needed an open platform because they needed some special integrations. What we were able to provide to them was RingCentral GLIP, which is our RingCentral application or the desktop experience, phone, fax, meetings, and rooms. And I didn't talk about rooms very much, but we can actually do conference rooms. So provide you with all of the tools that you need to set up a video conference environment within your organization. And this was one of the things that Pacific Dental also chose to implement. RingCentral Quality of Service will address that quality of service option or requirement that they had, so their administrators were able to make sure that the voice quality in their environment was exactly what they needed. And we integrated with Box, Salesforce, Office 365, as well as Okta. That's all I have for you today. What additional questions can we answer for you?
Oh, sure. One question that had come in. So it looks like RingCentral has been growing year-over-year growth at about over 16%. What would you attribute such amazing growth to?
I actually attribute that to the fact that we are listening to our partners and we are listening to our customers in relationship to the features that they want to have and the ability to deliver upon the promises that we make to them. RingCentral customers, we have a 99% retention rate, and the average customer is with us over 7 years. In a cloud world, that is really an outstanding number. So the ability to innovate quickly, to deploy or implement quickly, and to deliver upon promises. Those are the reasons that you're seeing the exponential growth that RingCentral is experiencing.
Oh, great. Another question we have here is, in regards to getting the 32 days back, I mean, I could imagine that a lot of companies would certainly want to do that. There's tremendous value in that. So Sam, could you maybe tell us a little bit more about how unified communication solution can help drive that number down?
So when you have multiple different applications, you may have one department using one tool, a different department using a different tool. And I'll use myself as an example. At a previous employer of mine, we literally had 3 different messaging apps that were being utilized inside of the business. So from one day to another, if I had to interact with different teams, I would have to try to figure out which tool am I supposed to use. And in a lot of situations, I would just give up and just not even communicate with the person that I needed to communicate with because it was too difficult, or maybe I couldn't have all of those apps on my smartphone and I would have to whip out my laptop to get it. So I'm not being as productive as I needed to be or as I could have been if it had all been on one platform. The other thing is that as businesses grow and as businesses expand, there's a lot of acquisition and mergers that occur in business. So if you acquire a company and they're on a different phone system, we can get them on the same platform as you, usually in a matter of a few weeks. That's going to make the new people and your existing employees able to communicate and collaborate much quicker than if they stayed on separate, disparate systems. It also increases the productivity of the administrators because you, don't need as many administrators because you don't have so many different tools. But more importantly, they're able to see at a global view how the entire organization is doing. And then they can make decisions on, okay, so these features are not being utilized. What can we do to make these features be more utilized so that we can get the most out of our human capital? Those are some of the ways that those 32 days can dwindle down to maybe 10.
Yeah, that's great. And it's amazing how, all this technology that we have today has just increased efficiency so much. I mean, I'm sure that's what everybody's after nowadays, with everything that everybody's got going on. Being able to communicate and message across the world much quicker is obviously of tremendous value. I mean, even referring back to the social media reference you made before, I mean, it's amazing. 10 years ago, a company's strategy would have been more, on the phones or, having to deal with, audio calls, but social media wasn't really that much part of a strategy. It's amazing how things have changed.
Exactly. So as the workforce gets younger, the tools that they have been using are the tools that we're starting to see in business. I like to refer to it as the consumerization of business. But, when we think about it, businesses are filled with people, and people are creatures of habit. So I think it also increases your productivity. If you have tools that people already know how to use, just think about the reduction in training time that's going to provide for you because they already know how to use messaging. They already are using FaceTime, so video chatting or video meetings are not going to be a strange, futuristic type of thing for them. It's something that they're doing every day in their regular lives, so doing it in a business environment is going to be much easier to adapt to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's all the questions that we had sent in for today. Sam, Darren, I want to thank you very much for your time today, for spending with us and giving such a thorough presentation. We really appreciate it. I want to thank everybody that signed up for the webinar and that attended. I would like to let you know that we will follow up with each person that attended and signed up to see if they have any additional questions after leaving here today. Any other questions you think of, or if anybody wants to schedule a strategy call, you can contact us at sales@alliedphone.com. Sam and Darren, thank you once again for a great presentation and for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.